Not every country can say its story began long before written history existed. And not every country can surprise you so deeply that real facts start to sound like legends. This is Turkey, a country positioned between Europe and Asia, and one of the very few places in the world where you can cross between continents in just a matter of minutes. Here, the Bosphorus Strait both separates and connects two different worlds, making Istanbul the only megacity on Earth located on two continents at the same time. In this video, we are going to explore Turkey step by step, from cities that witnessed the rise and fall of empires to natural landscapes that look almost too unreal to belong to ordinary life. If you want to discover how one country managed to contain so many different worlds, and what truly exists beyond the tourist postcards, subscribe to the channel and join us on this journey. Throughout its history, Istanbul served as the capital of three empires: Roman, Byzantine, and Ottoman. Each of them left behind not only architecture, but also a way of thinking that can still be felt in the rhythm of the city today. Minarets rise beside skyscrapers. Ancient walls stand next to modern neighborhoods, and the narrow streets of the old city eventually lead down to crowded ferries crossing the strait. Istanbul is not an open-air museum. It is a living organism, where the past never truly stopped. It simply continued evolving together with the present. The city has always been a place of transition. Trade routes, armies, and ideas all passed through here. And because of that, Istanbul never developed a single fixed identity. It constantly changed, while remaining essential to everyone who wanted influence over the region. In southeastern Turkey lies one of humanity's greatest mysteries. Göbekli Tepe remained buried underground for thousands of years, until its discovery at the end of the 20th century forced historians and archaeologists to rethink the origins of civilization itself. Massive stone circles appeared here long before cities, writing, or agriculture. They were built by people who had not yet discovered metal or the wheel, yet were already capable of creating monumental ceremonial spaces. Animals are carved into the stone, not as decoration, but as symbols of a world we still struggle to fully understand. Göbekli Tepe raises a simple but unsettling question. What if belief and ritual came before civilization, rather than after it? One of the most fascinating details is that, after the complex was built, people intentionally buried it beneath the earth. It was not destroyed. It was carefully sealed, as if the site had completed its purpose and was meant to remain hidden for future generations. Cappadocia looks as if it does not belong to Earth. For millions of years, wind and volcanoes shaped this surreal landscape of stone pillars, valleys, and strange rock formations. But the true history of the region was created by people. In Göreme and the surrounding valleys, inhabitants carved homes, churches, and entire settlements directly into the soft volcanic rock. These underground spaces became shelters during times of persecution and centers of spiritual life. Today, dozens of hot air balloons rise above this ancient world every morning, revealing from the sky how tightly nature and history are woven together here. The underground cities of Cappadocia were capable of sheltering thousands of people at once. They contained ventilation shafts, storage rooms, and even water systems, allowing entire communities to survive underground for months without contact with the outside world. Mardin rises above the plains of Mesopotamia like a stone terrace suspended in time. The city is built from sandstone that changes color depending on the light of the day. Its streets descend in cascades, while the houses seem to grow directly out of the rock itself. For centuries, Mardin was home to different peoples and religions. Mosques, churches, and monasteries existed side by side here, creating a rare example of cultural coexistence. From the city, endless plains stretch toward the horizon, lands once considered the cradle of civilization. And it feels as though this view forced Mardin to always look beyond itself. Thanks to its location, the city controlled important trade routes between Anatolia and Mesopotamia for centuries. Mardin was not only a spiritual center, but also a major crossroads where goods, languages, and traditions moved together across the region. Ephesus is a city that allows you to see antiquity in an almost untouched form. Once, tens of thousands of people lived here. Markets operated daily. Baths, libraries, and theaters filled the city with movement and activity. In its time, this was a true ancient megacity. Marble-paved streets still run between temples and public squares, while the facades of the surviving buildings continue to tell stories of the wealth and ambition of the Roman Empire. Walking through Ephesus, it is difficult not to notice how remarkably advanced this city was 2,000 years ago. And at the same time, how fragile even the greatest civilizations eventually become. Ephesus possessed one of the most developed urban infrastructures of the ancient world. The city already had sewage systems, street lighting, and public toilets, things that would only appear in many European cities centuries later. Pamukkale looks less like something shaped by water and more like something created by light itself. For centuries, hot mineral springs deposited layers of calcium across the mountainside, forming white terraces that cascade downward like frozen waterfalls. Even in ancient times, people believed these waters had healing properties, and they built cities and bath complexes nearby. Here, natural landscape and humanity's search for health and harmony became closely connected. Pamukkale is a reminder that slow, natural processes are capable of creating something truly extraordinary. The mineral terraces are constantly changing. If the flow of water shifts, the white cascades disappear in some places and reappear in others. That is why Pamukkale requires constant protection and careful management to preserve a landscape that took thousands of years to form. By the way, if you're enjoying these videos, please leave a like. It really means a lot to me. Antalya is more than just a resort city. It is a place where history hides behind palm trees and beaches. The old town still preserves Roman gates, Ottoman houses, and narrow streets that descend toward the harbor. Nearby stand modern districts, hotels, and long waterfront promenades. Antalya lies between the sea and the mountains, and that location made it an important port for centuries. Today, the city combines leisure and heritage, showing how the past can continue to exist within the rhythm of modern life. In ancient times, this region was known as Pamphylia. Its coastline served as a natural harbor for Torgovi and military ships, making Antalya a key point along Mediterranean trade routes for generations. Ani is a city that disappeared, but was never truly forgotten. Once, it was one of the largest and wealthiest cities of its time, the capital of a powerful medieval kingdom and an important point on major trade routes. Today, Ani stands on the edge of a plateau, beside deep canyons and a modern border. Wind moves through the ruins of churches, palaces, and city walls, leaving behind only silence. The city was abandoned after wars, earthquakes, and the shifting of trade routes. Its greatness faded almost suddenly, but the stone preserved the memory of how fragile prosperity can be. At its height, Ani was called the City of 1,001 Churches. Religious buildings here were raised not only as symbols of faith, but also as expressions of political power. Fethiye is a place where the mountains meet the sea. The city grew on the lands of ancient Lycia, and traces of that past still remain here, especially in the rock-cut tombs carved high above the valley. Nearby lies Uludeniz, one of the most famous bays in the country. Its calm, turquoise waters are separated from the open sea by a thin strip of sand, creating an almost perfect lagoon. From above, these landscapes open up to paragliders drifting over the coast, turning the entire scene into a living map. In ancient times, this region was part of a maritime civilization built around navigation and trade. That is why the coastline here feels so closely connected to both the mountains and the sea routes. Ankara often remains in the shadow of more famous cities, but this is where the heart of modern Turkey is concentrated. It is the capital of the state, the administrative and political center where decisions are made that shape the country's future. And yet, Ankara's history reaches far into the past. Hittite, Roman, and Byzantine settlements once existed on these lands, and the older quarters of the city still preserve traces of them. Ankara is a city without unnecessary decoration, but with a clear rhythm. It shows Turkey as it exists today. The city became the capital only in the 20th century. That decision was deeply symbolic. It marked a break with the imperial past and pointed toward the vision of a new republic. Safranbolu is a town that seems to have stopped time. Its streets preserve the layout of the Ottoman era. while wooden houses have stood side by side for centuries without losing their original form. Once, Safranbolu was an important trading point on caravan routes, where merchants from east and west would stop along their journeys. Today, the town moves quietly, allowing you to see what everyday life may have looked like several centuries ago. The town's name comes from saffron, the precious spice that was actively traded here. It was saffron that brought Safranbolu much of its economic prosperity in earlier centuries. Lake Van is the largest lake in Turkey, located on a high mountain plateau. Its water is salty and alkaline, and its color changes depending on the light and weather. Around it, mountains create a feeling of separation from the rest of the world. In the middle of the lake lies Akdamar Island. Rising on it is an ancient church, whose walls are covered with carved scenes from biblical stories and local legends. This place brings together natural grandeur and cultural depth, where silence speaks louder than words. Because of the lake's high salt content, almost no fish live in Lake Van, except for one unique species. This makes the lake feel even more isolated and emphasizes its unusual ecosystem. For centuries, Lake Van served as a natural boundary between civilizations, while its shores became a meeting place for different cultures and beliefs. Akdamar Island changed its role more than once, from a spiritual center to a symbol of preserved memory that survived empires, borders, and time. Bodrum is a city where antiquity and modern life exist on equal terms. Once, one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world stood here, the grand tomb that gave the word mausoleum its name. Today, Bodrum is known as a center of seaside leisure, but behind the white facades of its houses lies the rich history of a port city. The harbor, the fortress, and the narrow streets all remind you that this place has always been a gateway between cultures. The Castle of St. Peter, built by the Knights Hospitaller, controlled the sea routes for a long time. Part of its stone came from the ruins of the ancient mausoleum, carrying history from one era into another. Turkey is a country that cannot be reduced to a single route or a single image. It changes with every region, every landscape, and every layer of history. From the oldest temples to living modern cities, from mountain peaks to coastal shores. This journey is only one way to see Turkey, but certainly not the only one. If you enjoy discovering the world beyond tourist postcards and traveling through places where history, nature, and culture are deeply intertwined, subscribe to the channel so you do not miss the next routes and new discoveries.